Hey guys! Tonight, we drift into the cold, quiet stillness of a battlefield few remember, a place just east of Berlin where the wind carries stories no one wanted to hear. This is Seelow Heights. April 1945. The last hurdle before the war's end. You're curled beneath a scratchy blanket in the bottom of a damp trench. It's not even dawn yet, but your eyes are open. They've learned to wake before the sky does. Above you, the first threads of morning are stretching through the mist. Everything is gray, the sky, the mud, your breath curling in the cold. Your coat doesn't quite fit. The buttons are mismatched. The lining is torn. But it's warm enough. And that's all that matters. You sit up slowly, careful not to knock over your canteen. The trench walls rise around you like damp, rotting ribs. Somewhere nearby, someone coughs. A match flares. The low murmur of soldiers waking travels like fog along the wood-planked floor. You stretch your legs, feeling the familiar ache behind your knees. You've slept sitting up again. Your back is stiff. Your hands are numb. You shift your weight and glance over the edge. The field beyond is quiet. Beyond that, the Oder River. And beyond that, the Red Army. You haven't seen them yet, but you know they're there, waiting. You rub your eyes with the back of your glove and take a breath. The air tastes like ash, rust, and something colder than frost. Beside you, Otto is still sleeping. He's young. Too young to be here, but so are you. You stand, boots creaking on the boards, and make your way to the bend in the trench where the wall dips just enough for a view. Your fingers trace the words someone carved into the wood there weeks ago. Not yet. So, before you get too comfortable, if slow, atmospheric history helps you drift off or wind down, feel free to like the video and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it for you right now? You'd be surprised how many others are keeping quiet company with you. Now settle in. Let the cold fall away. We're going slow tonight. You sip from your canteen. But the water is colder than before. You tuck it away and pull out a folded letter. It's soft around the edges now. Your sister's handwriting flows across the page. She talks about the cat having kittens, about lilacs blooming early, about the bakery reopening in town. She doesn't ask about the war. She just says she hopes you're warm, and safe, and not alone. You fold the letter carefully and tuck it back into your chest pocket. Behind you, the sound of a kettle whistling breaks the silence. Marcus, the quiet one with the burnt sleeves. Is boiling coffee again? It'll taste like dirt. But it's hot. And that's all that matters. You crouch near the trench wall as the sky brightens by degrees. Just beyond the trees, something moves. Not a man. Not a machine. Just a breeze, carrying the weight of everything that hasn't happened yet. And still, for now, there are no orders, no gunfire, only mist, only breath, only you, and the quiet and the last calm morning before the line breaks. And somehow in all that gray, you're still here. The fog thickens as the light grows. You watch it pool in the low parts of the trench, slipping along the ground like something alive. It clings to boots, to rifles, to the folds of your coat, softening everything. Blurring the sharp edges of war just for a little while. Somewhere to your left, someone is humming. It's a song you half remember. Something your grandmother used to sing while peeling potatoes, low, steady, with no real melody. You close your eyes for a moment and just listen. The sound weaves into the mist like thread into cloth. When you open them again, you see them, the others. A line of silhouettes appearing one by one through the fog. Like ghosts rising from the earth. You recognize some by posture alone. The tall one with the bandaged hand is Fischer. He used to be a baker in Dresden. Now, he's the one who can strip and reassemble a rifle faster than anyone else in the unit. Next to him, Muller, an older man with a limp and hollow cheeks. You heard he lost his son on the Eastern Front last winter. He never speaks unless spoken to, but he always shares his cigarettes. Further down the trench, you spot Greta. Not her real name, no one knows that. She was assigned here as a combat medic 2 weeks ago. She keeps her hair tucked under her helmet and never takes off her gloves. But when she changes dressings, her hands are steady, and her voice is soft. You see her now, crouched beside a boy no older than 15, wrapping gauze around his arm. He's trying not to cry. She's pretending not to notice. You look away. The fog is lifting slowly, inch by inch. Shapes sharpen. Voices rise. Someone passes you a chunk of bread. Stale. Hard. You nod in thanks and take a bite. Your teeth hurt from the cold. You hear footsteps behind you, heavy, deliberate. The lieutenant. He doesn't shout. He never does. But when he speaks, the trench listens. Eyes forward. Report to positions. He doesn't say more than that. You rise. So does Otto, finally awake and shivering under his tarp. He rubs his face, blinking against the pale light. What time is it? He asks, voice groggy. You shrug. It doesn't matter anymore. The line reforms quietly. Boots shuffle on the planks. Belts tighten. Gloves are pulled on with cracked, reddened fingers. Someone tells a joke you can't quite hear. It earns a soft laugh from a few men. You let the sound drift past you, like everything else. You check your pack, your rifle, your coat. Everything is there. Everything is always there. You've gone over it 100 times. But your hands still shake. You look at the sky again. Still no sun. Just layers of gray stacked over darker gray. And a horizon that refuses to give you anything back. Otto falls into step beside you, fumbling with the strap on his helmet. His cheeks are raw from the cold. But he smiles at you faintly. Maybe they won't come today, he says. You say nothing. Not because you disagree, but because it's the kind of hope that makes things worse when it breaks. Behind you, Greta stands with her satchel over one shoulder. She meets your eyes for half a second, then looks away. The boy she bandaged is gone. You don't know where. The fog has thinned enough now to see the ridgeline beyond the trench. It looks quiet. But then again, it always does until it doesn't. You adjust your collar, tighten your gloves, and wait. The hum of anticipation is louder than gunfire, quieter than breathing, and heavy as stone. Somewhere in the fog, a bird calls sharp. Brief, then silence again. You stare into that silence like it might blink back, and wonder, not for the first time, how close you really are to the end. The fog has lifted just enough to see each other clearly. You stand with the others now, lined up along the edge of the trench, rifles resting against shoulders. Eyes scanning the horizon like there's something new to see. But there never is. Just mud, gray sky, and trees that never seem to move even in the wind. You feel the cold in your teeth. No one's speaking. Not anymore. The joking has stopped. The line is too quiet. Then movement near the command post. 2 officers duck beneath the trench planks and pass a folded map between them. One gestures toward the east. The other frowns and says something you can't hear. They're not yelling. That's how you know it's bad. You glance at Otto. He's chewing the inside of his cheek again. A nervous habit. His helmet sits too low on his forehead. You want to fix it for him, but you don't. He shifts closer and leans in. They're arguing again, he whispers. About what? Whether to hold or fall back. You nod, though the words make your stomach sink. Hold means more nights like this. Fall back means retreating closer to Berlin, a place you're not sure you'll ever reach. Otto doesn't say anything else. He just stands beside you, arms crossed, rocking on his heels slightly. Like he's trying not to feel the ground shaking beneath him. You look down and notice something strange. Your boots say. They're cleaner than yesterday. Not much, but the mud is thinner. Maybe the frost hardened the top layer. Or maybe your legs have simply stopped walking. You exhale slow. Your breath fogs your vision. A short distance away, Greta kneels near a wooden crate, sorting bandages by size and cleanliness. She does it carefully, folding each strip like it's part of a ritual. One of the new boys, his name might be Emil, asks her something in a low voice. She answers with a nod and a hand on his shoulder. then returns to her work. You pull off your glove and reach into your coat again. There's another letter. Older than the one you read this morning. This one's from your brother. He always wrote too formally. Never called you by your nickname. Always signed it. Yours in faith and purpose, like a line from a sermon. You read it again anyway. He wrote about ration lines. How the trains were running late. How they finally got sugar in the market again. And how mother baked your favorite cake just in case you came home. You fold the letter slowly. Stare at the creases in the paper. Then tuck it back where it came from. Deep beneath the wool layers that cover your chest. The wind picks up. It blows east to west, toward Berlin. It smells like ash. Like burned rubber. Like something distant and unnatural. The lieutenant reappears. He walks slowly down the trench line. Not speaking. Just looking at each man as he passes. His eyes land on you for a moment. Not long enough to be threatening. Just long enough to be remembered. Then he moves on. You don't ask what's coming. If he knew, he wouldn't be walking so slowly. Above the trench wall, birds scatter. Not crows this time, pigeons maybe. But they fly in the same direction. You feel something tighten inside your chest. A few meters down. Someone starts singing under their breath. A lullaby. Maybe. Or something meant to be one. The words don't matter. The sound is enough. You glance again at Otto. He's staring into the sky now, mouth open slightly. Eyes squinting against the growing light. The sun is trying to rise. Trying. But the clouds won't let it. You rest your hand on your rifle without thinking. You don't plan to use it. But you need to know it's there. Somewhere behind you, another kettle whistles. Marcus again. Always Marcus. You wonder how many mornings he's done this now. And how many more he thinks he'll get. You close your eyes briefly. And wait. The first shell lands far off. Too far to hear the whistle. You only feel it. A soft vibration in the soles of your boots. Like someone knocked on the ground from underneath. You freeze. The others do too. No one says anything. But every movement stills like a herd sensing the wind shift. A few seconds pass. Long enough to doubt what you felt. Long enough to pretend maybe it was just distant thunder. And then the second shell hits. Closer. This time you hear it. A hollow humph. The kind of sound that rearranges air. Someone curses under their breath. Someone else grips their helmet tighter. You stay crouched. You're not sure why, habit maybe. Or the way your knees know what's coming before your brain does. The third shell hits behind the line, not in the trench, but close enough to taste. Dust rains from the wooden supports above. Loose dirt tumbles into your lap. Otto drops beside you, eyes wide. He doesn't say anything, just presses his back to the wall and stares forward. The fog is gone now, blown away by the percussion. The horizon is painfully clear, and with it, the faint glint of movement across the river. You hear the orders now, though no one's shouting. They come in sharp, clipped voices. Positions. Spacing. Prepare to receive. You move on instinct. Grab your pack. Check your gear. Slide into place between two sandbags that weren't there yesterday. Your heart is a metronome. Steady. Faster than usual. But not frantic. Your hands shake though. That part hasn't changed. Another shell. This one closer. It lands behind you, but the shockwave hits like a slap. You blink twice before your hearing returns. A distant whine settles in your ears like static. Someone pulls you lower by the collar. You don't see who. You don't look. You're down now. Pressed into the damp trench floor. Knees in mud. Fingers gripping the wooden edge of the wall. You try to breathe slow. Try to remember the rhythm from before. Inhale through your nose, hold. Exhale slow. Just like they taught in drills. Just like you never thought you'd need to use. Marcus slides past you with a box of spare rounds. His sleeves are rolled up, arms streaked with soot. He doesn't look afraid. Just focused. You envy him. Greta's further down, crouched beside a young soldier who's bleeding from the ear. He's not crying. Just blinking, again and again. Like he doesn't understand why the world sounds so far away. Greta wraps his head in gauze, touches his shoulder, then moves on. The ground shudders again. You feel it in your spine. It's not just artillery now. You lift your head and glance beyond the trench wall. Through the smoke, through the trees. Movement. Shadows. Not vehicles. Not tanks. Just men. Lots of them. Like ants spilling out of the forest. You duck back down. The wood beneath your hands is splintered and damp. Otto says something beside you, but it's lost under the next round. It lands to the left. Sends a piece of timber flying over your head. Thuds into the dirt a meter behind you. You don't flinch. You don't move. You just stay there, breathing, listening. There's a strange stillness inside your chest. Not peace, not fear, just a kind of quiet acceptance that comes when the sky falls slowly, instead of all at once. The lieutenant shouts from somewhere above, "Hold your fire." You grip your rifle tighter. You don't aim. Not yet. You just wait. The sky is low now, heavy with smoke and dust. It presses down on your helmet like another layer of gravity. You close your eyes for half a breath. And then you open them. Because it's not over. Because it's only just begun. You lose track of how many shells have landed. They come in waves. Long enough between them to let your pulse slow. Then another whistle. Another crash. Another shiver that starts somewhere in your chest and ripples all the way down to your boots. The trench is holding. For now. Some sections are reinforced with timber. Others with nothing but sandbags, cracked and leaking. You're somewhere in between. Otto crouches next to you, face pale, fingers clenched around his rifle like it might float away if he lets go. He hasn't spoken in minutes. Neither have you. You press your shoulder into the trench wall. Try to make yourself smaller, quieter. Like if you move less, they'll forget you're here. The air is thicker now. Smoke, dust, and the sharp sting of cordite hang in your throat. You cough once and muffle it with your sleeve. Someone down the line shouts something. Not an order, just noise. A fear-shaped sound. It echoes off the boards and disappears into the haze. You blink hard. The ground is vibrating. You can't tell if it's footsteps yet, or just your body trying to warn you of what's coming. You lift your head slowly, peer over the trench lip. Just a little. The field in front of you looks like it's breathing. Waves of motion. Fast and low. Uniforms, different colors. Figures weaving through the trees, spreading out like ink in water. You duck back down. They're coming, you murmur. Otto just nods. He doesn't look surprised. Someone to your right starts loading a machine gun. Each click is louder than the last. Measured. Calm. Like ritual. You check your own rifle again. Even though you've already done it 3 times. The stock is worn smooth. The barrel cold against your gloved hands. You try not to think about what it means to fire it. Across the trench, Greta is repositioning. She's found cover behind a support beam, bag open, sleeves rolled. You can't see her face, but you know the look is the same, focused, blank, like someone who has no time for fear. The lieutenant appears again. Mud on his coat. One side of his helmet dented. He doesn't yell. He just raises one arm, a signal, and then lowers it. That's it. You brace. All along the line, breath is held. Spines tighten. Fingers curl around triggers. And then the first shots ring out. Not yours. Not yet. Somewhere further down, a burst of fire. Then another. Then the scream of return fire cutting across the morning like broken glass. You stay low. Eyes forward. The trench rocks again from another impact. This one much closer. You feel the heat. The grit of dirt kicked into your face. Otto curses. He's bleeding, not badly, just a nick above his eyebrow. You toss him a strip of cloth. He presses it there without a word. The world narrows. No more birds. No more fog. Just the trench. The shouting. The pounding in your chest. You aim. Not high. Just enough to see shapes. A figure flashes across your line of sight. You don't shoot. You don't breathe. You wait. Wait for the next signal. For the next voice. For anything that tells you it's okay to move. But it never comes. So you stay there, knees deep in earth, back pressed to wood, mouth dry, eyes burning. Otto leans over, whispers, "Is it always like this?" You don't answer, because you're not sure. Time passes. You don't know how much. Could be minutes. Could be a lifetime. The rifle in your hands grows heavier. Your breath shortens. But the line hasn't broken. Not yet. And so you stay. Not out of courage. Not out of loyalty. But because moving feels like admitting it's real. So you stay. And breathe. And wait. Because sometimes, surviving is just that simple. Night doesn't fall. It sinks slow and heavy. Like a blanket soaked in ash. You feel it long before you see it. The chill sharpening. The color draining from the sky. The shadows growing longer, until even the inside of your helmet feels dim. By the time the firing quiets, no one says much. Voices have been spent. Adrenaline, too. What's left is the buzz in your limbs and the metallic taste in your mouth. You sit with your back against the trench wall. Your rifle lies across your lap like a sleeping dog. Your gloves are crusted in dried mud. Your fingers ache, but you don't take them off. Otto sits beside you, forehead still wrapped in stained cloth. He hasn't spoken in hours. You're not sure if it's shock or something deeper. You don't ask. Someone further down lights a cigarette. The flame flickers once, twice, then vanishes. The smell drifts through the trench like a whisper of something normal. Eventually, you're given the signal to rotate. You and 6 others make your way to the bunker behind the line. A low, half-buried structure built from timber, dirt, and desperation. The door creaks open on a rusted hinge. You duck inside. It's warmer in here. Barely, but enough to feel like a luxury. A lantern hangs from the ceiling, casting a weak golden glow over the room. The light trembles with every footstep, like it's afraid to be here too. The floor is packed earth. The walls lined with crates and blankets. There's a tin stove in the corner, hissing softly. No fire inside. Just coals, red and pulsing, like the last breath of something that used to matter. You lower yourself onto a wooden bench. It groans beneath you. Everything does, out here. Across from you, Fisher unwraps a strip of jerky and chews without blinking. Marcus is boiling water again, using his dented kettle and a can of fuel that smells like paint thinner. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds blend. Dripping water. Shifting boots. Soft breathing. And just beneath it, the occasional rumble of distant shelling, like thunder rolling far, far away. Greta enters last. Her coat is soaked. There's a smear of blood across her left sleeve. She doesn't explain it. No one asks. She drops her bag near the wall and crouches by the stove. Stares into the embers like they owe her something. Someone offers a cup around. You take a sip. It tastes like bark and oil. Still, it's warm. And right now, that's enough. Otto finally speaks. What if they come again tonight? His voice is small. Like a child's. Like he's already dreaming. Marcus shrugs. Fisher doesn't look up. Greta answers without turning. They won't. Not tonight. They've done enough for one day. No one argues. Silence folds over the room again. You lean your head back against the wall. Close your eyes. Try not to think about anything but the warmth sinking into your legs. Outside. The wind howls low, a sound like singing through broken teeth. Someone hums. You don't know the tune, but it doesn't matter. It fills the space. Soft. Repetitive. Something to hold onto. You open your eyes and glance around. Marcus has fallen asleep, kettle still in hand. Greta is repacking her bag. Otto leans against the corner, eyes half closed. Feels almost normal. Almost. You pull your coat tighter and let your mind wander. Back to a room with windows. To the smell of bread. To spring. But the memory is fading, washed out by smoke and time. And part of you wonders if it was ever real at all. The lantern above flickers. You stare into its trembling glow. And for now, just for now, you're safe. You're warm. You're here. And somehow, that's enough. The knock comes just before dawn. Not loud, just a single thud on the bunker wall. The kind of sound that carries weight without urgency. You're already half awake. Most of you are. Sleep in this place is shallow, full of noise and smoke and flickers of memory that don't belong to you anymore. You sit up slowly. Otto groans beside you. Marcus rubs his eyes. Greta is already lacing her boots. No one speaks until the door opens. It's the lieutenant. His face is unreadable. Not panicked. Not calm. Just done. We're pulling back, he says. No flourish. No explanation. We cross the river before sundown. Someone exhales sharply. Not fear. Just the sound of expectation meeting reality. You start gathering your things. There's not much. A canteen. Half a ration. A scarf someone left behind. The letters folded carefully and pressed to your chest. You sling your rifle over your shoulder, the strap digging into your collarbone. It's heavier today. Or maybe your body's just caught up with the weight of everything. Outside, the sky is flat, neither light nor dark. It's the color of wet stone. The trench line is thinner now. More boots than feet. More silence than speech. You move with the others. Step by step. Through slush. Through smoke. Toward the river. There's no rush, not yet. Just quiet movement. Like a funeral procession that forgot who it was mourning. Fisher walks ahead carrying a crate. Otto follows beside you, his jacket tied at the waist, helmet askew. Marcus hums again, the same melody from last night. It's the only thing that hasn't changed. The path is familiar. You helped dig it weeks ago. Now you're leaving it behind. You reach the edge of the woods by midday. The trees stand bare and skeletal, like they've seen too much and said too little. A group of soldiers is already waiting there, quiet, slumped, eyes hollow. You nod to a man with a bandaged arm. He nods back. Nothing more is needed. Greta kneels beside a soldier who's fallen behind. His foot is swollen, wrapped in a torn shirt. She says nothing as she lifts his arm across her shoulders and helps him stand. You keep walking. Eventually, you hear it. The river. The Oder. It doesn't roar or crash. It just moves wide and dark and steady, like it doesn't care who wins. You stop at the bank. There's a crossing point here, half constructed. A temporary bridge made of metal plates and timber, already groaning under the weight of the retreating column. The lieutenant is up front, shouting assignments, waving men across in small groups. You're in the third wave. You watch the first two go, rifles slung, heads down, boots thudding across the planks like drums in slow motion. When it's your turn, you move without hesitation. The bridge creaks underfoot. Below, the water rushes fast and cold. You don't look down. Otto follows behind you, breathing heavily. You don't speak. You don't need to. Halfway across, the wind picks up. It carries the smell of gunpowder. And something else. Smoke. Wood. Homes burning somewhere you'll never see. You keep walking. And when you step off the far bank, the mud sucks at your boots like it wants you back. You pull free. There's no cheering. No relief. Just a new direction. A different silence. The others gather beneath the trees. Someone passes around a tin of bread soaked in broth. You take a bite without tasting it. You sit on a rock, legs aching. The trees creak above you. A raven circles once, then vanishes into the gray. Beside you, Greta finally speaks. How far to Berlin? No one answers. You look east. The clouds hang low, bruised and restless. Your hands tremble in your gloves. Not from fear, just from being alive too long. You rest your head against the trunk of a tree. And for the first time in days, you let your eyes close. Just for a little while. When you wake, the sky has turned the color of steel. The tree you leaned against is damp now. Your shoulder aches from the angle, but you don't move. There's no rush, no call to arms, no whistle or barked command. Just the hush of wind moving through empty branches. The others are scattered nearby. Some sitting. Some lying flat in the mud, coats pulled over their faces. Not asleep. Just still. Strange, this silence. You'd expected something more. A final order. A speech. Promise. Instead, just clouds. And a road that leads west. You stand slowly. Your legs protest, but they hold. Otto is already up. He's found a walking stick, a broken fence post, maybe. He smiles faintly when your eyes meet. It's not joy. It's not defeat. It's something in between. You rejoin the others as they begin to move. No formation. No ranks. Just a line of tired boots finding their way forward. Somewhere behind you, the gunfire has started again. Not near. Not urgent. But it's there like thunder you're finally far enough away from. The trees thin as you walk. The ground firms underfoot. And eventually you reach a road. It's cracked and worn. A civilian road. Old cart tracks faded beneath the weight of years and boots. You follow it without question. Somewhere ahead, someone says there's a farmhouse. Abandoned. Maybe dry. You hope they're right. The sun breaks through for the first time in days. Not fully, but enough to warm the crown of your helmet. You let the light hit your face. You close your eyes. And for a few steps, it almost feels like walking home. The farmhouse is real. Stone walls. Shattered windows. A door swinging loose on its hinge. The inside smells of dust and mold, but the roof holds. You find a corner to sit. Unstrap your gear. Stretch your legs. Otto collapses beside the hearth, grinning like he's found treasure. Someone lights a small fire. Someone else finds a pot. Rusted but usable. Greta is outside collecting snow to melt. Her face is streaked with dried mud, but her eyes are clear. You hand her your canteen. She nods in thanks. No words. Not tonight. Inside, the fire crackles softly. The room glows gold for the first time. Marcus finds a pencil and begins writing on a scrap of cloth. He hums as he works, the same tune from before. You watch the flames flicker across the stone walls. They dance like memories, brief, flickering, full of color you almost forgot existed. And you think, maybe this is what peace sounds like. Not celebration. Not trumpets or flags. Just the absence of noise. Just a room. A fire. And the weight slowly sliding off your back. You lean against the wall. Fold your arms. Breathe deep. You're not the same as when you arrived at Seelow. Not physically. Not inside. Some parts of you didn't make the crossing. Others you found somewhere between the frost and the fog. But all of you is here now. And that's enough. You let your eyes close. Outside, snow begins to fall, light, quiet, indifferent. It dusts the earth. Settles on empty helmets. Covers everything without judgment. No glory. No banners. Just men drifting west, past the last gate. Carrying silence like a flag no one salutes.